call Claudia Beamish up to 7 minutes, please.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. And I'm glad to be speaking on fishing issues again today and to hear the views of members on the importance of fishing in our communities across Scotland and for the Scottish economy. Scottish Labour supports the Cabinet Secretary's motion and Jamie McGregor's amendment, recognising the contribution that the fleet makes to conservation.
I'm sorry, Ms Beamish, could you pull your microphone over slightly?
Sorry.
Thank you very much.
I spoke in the debate last September, although I'm not going to quote myself like Jamie McGregor, on the importance of the small-scale fishing communities, such as in my region, where over 700 people are employed on vessels, many in small-scale fishing. And I hope there will be a debate in the future on the importance of this vital part of the industry. Dave Thompson stressed the social considerations for coastal communities today. I also want to recognise the importance of the processing industry, touched on by Jim Hume and explored by Graham Day in relation to the transferable fishing concessions. Scottish Labour strongly supports the principle of regionalisation, and it appears that there is cross-party consensus on this today, which would be, I hope, encouraging for the Cabinet Secretary in going to the Council. Decentralised control over fishing brings a number of benefits, many of which have been described by members today, including faster decision-making, tailor-made management, which suits the individual characteristics of individual fleets and water basins, and crucially, the ability to change course if a decision is not working, in sharp contrast to the current unresponsive model of the centralised CFP. Jean Urquhart used the phrase of subsidiarity, not a common phrase these days, but still a very important one. The Cabinet Secretary has also highlighted the need for an injection of common sense. However, a number of obstacles remain, not least to hammer out the detail of what regionalisation will actually mean in practice, and ensuring that the European Commission and Parliament really does devolve responsibility to the new regional bodies. Rob Gibson highlighted the co-decision-making responsibilities for the first time of the Parliament and concerns about the possible conflict between the EU committees. Our members on this side will also be taking a careful interest in this and working with other MEPs. My understanding is that the powers will be devolved directly to Member States who can then enter into regional agreements. If this is the case, I hope the Cabinet Secretary and his government will work constructively alongside the UK government as a Member State to ensure a strong framework is put in place, which encourages cooperation and joint solutions with our neighbours. Alison Johnson highlighted that the industry can be stewards of the sea for the next generation. In terms of sustainability, as Lewis MacDonald highlighted, the problem with the CFP is that the objective of matching the activity to resource, it is a prescriptive approach to the regulations by which the objective is pursued. I welcome the Scottish Government's conversion to the reform of the Common Fisheries Policy rather than withdrawal, and I hope that this about turn is a result of the government realising that regionalisation is not about the quasi-nationalisation of the fishing stocks, but a real attempt to devolve decision-making to a sensible level. North, south, east and west, everyone agrees about regionalisation. But what the fishermen's organisations have told us is that it is essential that regionalisation results in more cross-country working as well, not less, where stakeholders, governments, scientists and local people in ports up and down the UK and in the EU more broadly work for the common interest to deal with discard, sustainability and increased traceability. Yes. Yes.
Dina Kurt.
I thank the member for that. Would you agree that regionalisation, when you say that they must have input into how the fishing is organised in their area, that the area where most of the fishermen are and where most of the fishing is done should have a voice at that table when the discussion is happening? And would you agree that that has not happened to date?
Claudia Beamish.
Well, I'm glad that the Cabinet Secretary is going to the negotiations this time around, and as I say, I wish him well with that. And I think it's the strong votes that we have through being part of the UK are a valid part of that argument. In the words of the Cabinet Secretary, discards are indeed a tragedy, and the 4 points outlined by the Cabinet Secretary are a positive way forward in our view. As Margaret McDougall stressed, we must find a sustainable way forward, and she emphasised data collection, as did Jenny Mara, who highlighted our good record on ecosystem management. As she said, better and more targeted scientific advice is essential. It was recently put to me what now seems obvious. Fish do not know national borders. They do not swim around with national flags tattooed on them. And so we should not become protective of our stocks to the exclusion of cooperation. The Scottish Fishermen's Federation has called this a crucial period for the Scottish fishing industry. Scottish Labour agrees with the Scottish Government on the need to reform the whole process, and we welcome their change of heart to remain as part of a collective arrangement. In the main, we also agree with what form that reform should take. We now call on the Government to work with the UK Government in all possible ways to ensure that this opportunity for real and lasting reform becomes a reality, and we wish the Cabinet Secretary well at the Council in the near future. Thank you.